just 4 short years. I mean, think about that for a second.
Yeah.
In that time, Furlan Marri's gone from, a Kickstarter project with those accessible Metric chronos.
Right, the ones that got everyone talking initially.
Exactly. To now being a real talking point in the enthusiast world. It's quite surprising, honestly, and pretty impressive.
It really is. A fast rise.
And today we're doing a deep dive into their brand new Red Hunter Anniversary model.
That's right. And this isn't just, another watch release. This Red Hunter feels very specific.
Specific how?
Well, it feels deliberately designed to celebrate that 4-year milestone we were just talking about.
Okay.
We've been looking through all the details, the specs, the design choices, the inspirations behind it.
Trying to get the full picture.
Exactly. And we're here to sort of unpack what makes this particular mechanical watch, well, interesting, worth talking about.
And we've looked at the launch info, some early hands-on stuff.
Yep. Tried to get a good cross-section of what's being said, what the watch actually offers you.
Okay, so let's maybe rewind a bit on that journey.
Yeah.
Because it has been quite something for Furlan Marri.
It really has.
We saw those first Metric pieces, movements, mixing mechanical chronograph functions with quartz timekeeping, for anyone less familiar.
Which were great value.
Yeah.
Hit a spot in the market.
They did, and then they moved upmarket, didn't they, into more, let's say, elevated territory with watches like the Corns des Vaches.
Beautiful case shape on that one.
Had some fun with the Disco Volante, too, which was pretty quirky.
Yeah, definitely distinctive.
And now they're even collaborating on a secular perpetual calendar with, big names, Dominique Renaud and Julien Tixier for Only Watch.
Which is just, wow, quite a leap.
Right, so this Red Hunter feels like an interesting marker, a waypoint on that path, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. It feels like a consolidation, but also still pushing forward. And the Red Hunter itself is, it's a really interesting mix.
A mix of what?
Well, the materials we've seen describe it as an eclectic mix of vintage charm and modern craftsmanship.
Okay, eclectic.
Yeah, and what's fascinating, I think you'll find, is how they've specifically borrowed from classic Hunter case pocket watches.
Ah, the hinged cover idea.
Exactly. And also those very distinct officer-style wristwatches from the early 20th century.
You can definitely see those nods to history in the design previews, and I think that's maybe part of the appeal,
How so?
Well, the sheer variety of details they've pulled from different eras, it means you're, quite likely to find something specific that clicks with you.
Yeah, resonates with your own taste.
Right. It feels like it's designed to have a pretty broad appeal within the watch crowd, even with those specific vintage cues.
Makes sense. And let's dig into some of those specifics then, maybe starting with the case.
Good idea.
It's coming in at a very wearable 36 millimeters in diameter.
Oh, nice size. Very classic.
Totally. And the thickness is 11.6 millimeters, but that actually includes the double caseback.
Double caseback. Okay, we'll get to that. But 11.6 millimeters, including that, sounds pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it gives it a refined feel on the wrist, not chunky at all. The case itself is mostly polished stainless steel, and it has this nice stepped bezel detail. Adds a bit of visual interest.
Okay, but you mentioned the double caseback. That's the Hunter part, isn't it?
That's the standout feature, absolutely. Really leaning into that Hunter case inspiration, you get this hinged, solid caseback.
What's on the outside of that?
It's described as having a clean, polished outer surface, which is, perfect if you were thinking about getting something engraved.
Right. Personalization potential.
Exactly. And this is where it gets interesting for you, the wearer. You flick open that hinged cover,
I'm done.
And underneath, you find engraved markings, specifically commemorating Furlan Marri's 4th anniversary.
Oh, that's a neat touch. Subtle, but meaningful for the occasion.
It really is. And then, under that hinged cover, there's another crystal.
A display back.
Yep, a sapphire crystal display back secured with 5 little screws. And that gives you a view of the movement inside.
So you get the best of both worlds, really. That classic kind of secretive Hunter feel.
Right.
But you don't lose the ability to actually see the mechanics ticking away.
Precisely. We should also mention the crown. It's described as generously sized, fluted, and it screws down.
Screw down crown. Good for water resistance, I guess.
Exactly. It definitely adds to the vintage look, but it also boosts the practicality.
How practical are we talking?
100 meters of water resistance.
Oh, wow. That's actually really good for a watch with this kind of, dressy vintage vibe.
It is. Gives you real peace of mind for everyday wear. You know, to be super precious with it near water.
Makes sense. Okay, so that's the case. What about the dial?
The dial sounds quite interesting, too. It's described in our sources as black lacquered.
Glossy.
Sounds like it.
Hmm.
And apparently it really plays with depth visually for you.
How does it do that?
Well, it seems to echo that step design we saw on the bezel. There's a lower outer ring, and that has the classic railroad-style track for minutes and seconds, with double-digit numerals marking every 5 units, 05, 10, 15, etc.
Got it. And the main part of the dial?
That's a raised intersection. It apparently slopes gently down towards the center.
Okay, so there's topography there.
Yeah, exactly. And on this raised part, you'll find polished, applied dot hour markers for most hours.
Applied, not printed. Nice.
Applied, yes. And then these very elegant, sort of curved Roman numerals at the cardinal points.
The 12, 3, 6, and 9.
That's the one gives it a distinctly sophisticated look, wouldn't you agree?
I would, yeah. Sounds quite refined. What about the hands?
Polished steel hour and minute hands, described as domed, so
Mm-hmm.
they should catch the light nicely.
Uh-huh.
But what really stops it from feeling too traditional and adds a bit of, spark.
Let me guess. The red.
The vivid red central seconds hand. Exactly. The sources specifically mention how that little pop of color brings in a contemporary feel, keeps it fresh.
It's a smart touch, isn't it? That little bit of red just, boom, lists the whole thing for you.
Yeah, stops it feeling too monochrome or severe.
And it's all under sapphire crystal, obviously.
Of course, sapphire crystal. And they mention multiple layers of anti-reflective coating
Good.
and also a fingerprint-resistant coating.
Oh, that's useful. A modern convenience we can all get behind, right? Especially on a polished watch.
Definitely helps keep it looking sharp day to day.
Okay, so case, dial. What's making it tick? What's the engine inside this anniversary model?
It's powered by the Joux-Perret G100. It's a self-winding movement.
Ah, the G100. We're seeing that pop up more often now.
We are. And if we think about Furlan Marri's journey, moving up from Mecha quartz and maybe simpler automatics, this movement is positioned as a higher quality alternative to something like the ETA 2824-2 or its clones.
Right. So for you, the buyer, it signals a step up. Better performance, maybe better finishing.
That seems to be the intention, yes. A more premium Swiss movement.
Okay, so what are the specs telling us?
Pretty solid specs. It beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour or 4 hertz.
Which gives you that nice, smooth sweep on the red seconds hand.
Exactly. And a very useful 68 hours of power reserve.
Ooh, 68 hours. That's good. That's weekend proof.
It is. So for you, that means you could easily take it off Friday night and it'll still be running come Monday morning. No problem.
Nice. Less resetting and the finishing. La Joux-Perret usually does a decent job there.
Yeah, the details we have mention an engraved tungsten rotor
Tungsten's good, efficient winding.
with a rose gold coating, plus Geneva stripes, some snailing, and even heat-blued screws.
Okay, so proper traditional decoration.
Seems like it.
Hmm.
These are, nice decorative touches that show a certain level of craft, even though, they're mostly hidden behind that display back we mentioned earlier.
Still, nice to know it's there. Attention to detail, even where you don't always see it.
Precisely. It suggests care went into the whole package.
All right. Now, thinking about how it actually connects to your wrist, what is it? Come on.
It ships with a boar-style bracelet that's beads of rice, stainless steel, with a folding buckle.
Ugh, beads of rice. That definitely plays into that vintage aesthetic. Should be comfortable, too.
Usually is, yeah. But Furlan Marri isn't just giving you that one choice to think about.
Oh!
Extras. That's right. The info says they're also including 2 leather straps in the box.
Okay. What kind?
A black leather strap with red stitching.
Ah, tying into the seconds hand.
Yeah.
Clever.
Yep. And also a cream-colored leather strap with a standard pin buckle.
Cream leather. Interesting choice. Gives it a different vibe again.
Definitely. And what's really convenient for you is that all 3 options, the bracelet and both straps, feature quick-release spring bars.
Oh, fantastic. No tools needed.
Exactly. Makes swapping them out incredibly easy. You can change the whole look in, 30 seconds.
That versatility is a huge plus for you, isn't it? Really lets you tailor the watch. Dress it up, dress it down.
For sure. Adds a lot of value.
Okay, so if this is ticking the boxes for someone listening, how do they get one? What's the availability situation?
Right. It's a pre-order model. And the window is quite specific.
When is it?
It opens on April 23rd. This is 2025, remember, at 3 p.m. Central European Time.
Okay, April 23rd, 3 p.m. CET.
Yeah.
And when does it close?
It stays open until May 4th, closing at 10 p.m. CET.
Got it. April 23rd to May 4th, 2025.
And it's important for you to know The brand states orders will not be accepted after that window closes. That's it. Then they start production based on the orders received.
So no waiting around if you want one. There's a clear time frame to act.
Exactly. A defined window of opportunity.
And the price, what are we looking at?
The price is set at $1,830 US dollars.
Okay, 1,830 USD.
And remember, that doesn't include any local taxes, but apply to you depending on where you are.
Right. Standard practice. And how does that price feel considering everything?
Well, when you weigh up all the features we've talked about, the design, that Hunter Caseback, the Joux-Perret G100 movement, the fact you get the bracelet and 2 extra straps with quick release.
Yeah.
The general feeling from the information seems to be that it's relatively fair. Seems like a decent value proposition for what's on offer.
Okay. So let's try and wrap this up then. To bring it all together for you listening, this Furlan Marri Red Hunter Anniversary model, it really does feel like, well, a significant watch for the brand.
I agree. It's clearly more than just another product. It's a statement piece, isn't it?
Yeah, a tangible marker of their growth over these, again, just 4 years, and a definite celebration of that achievement.
Absolutely. And it manages that blend quite nicely, I think. Those vintage inspirations, the Hunter case feel, the officer watch dial elements.
Right.
Mixed with modern execution, good specs, practical features like the water resistance and the strap system.
The layered dial sounds interesting, that pop of red. It seems thoughtfully designed.
It does. The combination of those design choices with the upgraded Joux-Perret movement inside,
Yeah.
it creates a pretty compelling package, something you might find really appealing if that style speaks to you.
It feels like a well-specified piece, clearly born from some passion for vintage design, but built for today. So, maybe a final thought for you to ponder. As you consider all this, what specific parts of vintage watch design really grab you? Is it the case shapes, the dial layouts, the old school charm?
Big question.
And maybe also, how does a relatively young brand like Furlan Marri successfully manage to evolve and expand, adding perpetual calendars and things, while still, staying true to that initial vision that got people excited in the first place?
That's the balancing act, isn't it?
It is. Something for you to think about, perhaps, as you continue exploring this endlessly fascinating world of watches.